believe that most human beings are only living at about 40% of their capability. So the mind has a governor, like a car. If you're driving a car and the car has a governor on it, the car may say 130 miles an hour, but the governor is set for 91. Once that governor sets in, you get to 91, that car starts doing this. The car wants to go. The car wants to go. The factory said, we're not going past 91. We have a factory, a nice governor in our brain, and it's a survival mechanism. It protects us from pain and suffering. The second we feel that shit, our mind says, oh no, this isn't fun. We should back off. We should sit down, find something more comfortable. You have to face that in that dark room. In that dark room is who you are. But in that dark room is where you have to create another human being that walks out of that dark room to face who you are. That's the only way you're gonna get over all those things. You have to create someone else. Not like you have two different personalities, it is you.
When the darkness whispers, give up, that's when you dig deeper. When your body says stop, that's when your spirit must speak louder. You don't heal by avoiding the pain. You heal by moving through it, by staring it down, by refusing to let it write your ending. Today's pain is tomorrow's power. This moment's struggle is your future strength and training. So breathe through it, stand in it, let it transform you.
In the dark room, you face yourself, you realize you want to be better, you realize you don't want to be this weak, insecure person in the world who has all these problems that we all have. We all have. Social media is a great platform to tell you who we want to be, not who we are. So that's where that dark room is. You start putting yourself in situations that suck, you'll find yourself. You'll find it real quick. It's the only way to find yourself. You don't find yourself, if you like bench pressing and you bench press all the fucking time, what are you finding out? If you like to swim, that's all you want to do is swim, what are you finding out? Put that, people always, people talk about triple down on your fucking strengths. That's the fucking weakest shit in the world. No, triple down on your fucking weaknesses. Find out something about yourself. You already know the good shit. You already know the happy shit. That's why on my Facebook page, everybody goes, why don't you talk about good times? You know how to get through that shit, motherfucker. You don't need you don't need no one to tell you how to get through. It's happy.
Right.
That's easy shit. I'm going to tell you how you can help yourself get through the times that suck. Real life. This is real life. 90% of your life will suck. 10% will be fucking happy. You may be a lucky guy and have a lot of fucking money, have a great ass woman, all this shit. Trust me, one-on-one with that fucking guy, he's missing something. His life still sucks because he hasn't faced something that bothered him his whole fucking life. So a lot of people can live with themselves. That's the first thing. A lot of people can live with themselves, look in the mirror and say, I'm okay with being afraid. I'm okay with going on this easy highway over here. The easy highway has all these signs and shit, directions, how to get somewhere. And you have to first be uncomfortable with how you feel about yourself. With that voice that a lot of us like to run away from, we all have it. We all have that voice that's saying, hey man, you're kind of wimping out right now. You're kind of being a little punk right now. But a lot of us say, okay, that's okay. It's okay to tell these little white lies to ourselves. So we first have to face the real you. The real me is David Goggins. The real me is a guy looking at you right now saying, I don't want to be on this show right now because I used to stutter as a kid. And I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid that here in a second, I'm going to start fucking stammering and stuttering and the whole world's going to know that I have all these issues. But that's when I see right now, okay, Goggins, you got to go on the show. That's Goggins. Goggins is saying, okay, David Goggins, you're a punk. Life made you this way. We can't live like this. We can't live in fear. We can't live in judgment. We can't be afraid of what people right now are looking at me saying about me. We cannot be afraid of that. That's Goggins. Goggins saying, all of you who don't like me, who don't want to, and that person then comes in. But you have to be David Goggins and say, man, I'm afraid of this, up here. Life made me this way here. I stutter. I have these issues with reading and writing, and I'm fat and I'm insecure.
The comeback is always stronger than the setback. The healing is always more powerful than the hurt. Now rise, not despite the pain, but because of it. Your greatest chapters always begin right after the pages that tried to break you. You've survived 100% of your worst days so far. This one won't be different. Keep going.
Because I need to change who I'm not. And that accountability mirror just became raw. And when I became fat over the years, because I fell back in the hole, I called myself fat. Because I was fat. And people don't want to do that. They want to say, oh, don't call yourself fat. Don't call yourself dumb. If you're not real and raw with who you are, nothing's going to change. And in this nice new world that we live in, we want to hear, you're just a little big. No, man, you might be fat. And it's okay to hear that from yourself and from everybody else. So that's where it started at. And it's raw. It gets ugly sometimes with me in the mirror, but I'm also proud of myself to be able to tell myself that and then fix what's in that mirror.
You want to be uncommon among the uncommon. Then stop waiting for people to validate your vision. Stop shrinking your ambition to fit their comfort, and stop seeking applause for work they'll never understand. Let them talk. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. Just don't let them distract you.
Like if you're fat and you need to lose weight, it's patience. It's patience in this fact of accepting who you are right now. I'm fat. I don't like myself. Accepting the fact that if you lose 3 or 4 pounds, that's a huge accomplishment. You have to live in your own world. You cannot judge yourself. That's why social media and all these things are horrible. You can't judge yourself off the so-called competition that we have made up in our mind. The things that, how people look, how people act, how smart someone is. This is a race that you run completely alone. And you're all by yourself.
You wake up to silence. No mentors, no handouts, no blueprint. Just you and the hunger. Day after day. Same 4 walls. Same relentless hustle. While the world outside laughs, connects, lives, you're trading it all for something they can't see yet. They call it obsession. You call it destiny.
But you have to find strength in that visualization of almost me cracking out Goggins, like almost like that Superman cape, like I'm coming out a different person, a person that doesn't give a fuck about anything, who doesn't care about being judged, who knows I'm weak, who knows I'm afraid, who says, whatever you think about me, take it, whatever, I'm here. That's Goggins. We're all, a lot of us are going through a hard time in life. Some people have been bullied, some people are just stressed out, some people are insecure, some people are fat and overweight, and the world puts a lot of this shit in your mind. It's not just you, yeah, you help it. And my whole thing is about, I had to develop a mindset that was indestructible. I had to armor plate my mind.
No safety net. No family name to open doors. Just raw will and the unshakable belief that your hands will build what your bloodline didn't hand you. The results aren't showing? Good. That means you're building something real, not some overnight illusion. Real empires are constructed in the silent years, the ones no one documents, the grind no one celebrates. You're not just chasing success, you're engineering a seismic shift in your existence. From nothing to everything, from unseen to undeniable. This isolation, it's not loneliness. It's the universe clearing the stage for your focus.
And it's about what you're saying to yourself, but it also comes with work. So whenever I was getting beat down, physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever I was going through, just saying, I would put, you can't hurt me. Can't hurt me just became a message, I would say to myself. And that's just kind of where it comes from. Sometimes all the voices are telling you the wrong shit, man. But through years, not a podcast or listening to a book or reading a book, years of sacrifice, of suffering, of diligent, pinpoint fucking work on what you want to do for yourself. Not like, oh, let me just do a bunch of shit. I want to be in every task possible. No. Pinpoint what I want to do with my life. What happens is you have all these voices that are telling you you're fucked up and this is going to be hard. But for some reason, you put so much practice into you that you can ignore every one of them that are telling you you're not going to make it. and still be able to fucking make it. Because you have put the practice in that you know this is the process. It's such a daunting task that all the voices are saying no. But you still have the conviction that I know I can do this. And that's what it took for me to get here. I know what I know. I've listened to myself enough to know I know what I know. None of you can hear what I'm hearing. And that's what people don't do enough of. They don't listen to their journey. They listen to everybody else's shit. Before you know it, I'm crazy. But if I'm so fucking crazy, and there's something about the mind. The mind has the tactical advantage over you at all times. At all times of your life, the mind has a tactical advantage over you. Why is that? It knows what you're afraid of. It knows your insecurities. It knows your deep, dark lies. And it starts to push you away from that shit. It pushes you in a direction that is comfortable. The mind controls everything. So what I realized was that when I was growing up and I was 300 pounds and I got all fat and I got all insecure, I realized that my mind kept taking me in this direction. When things got uncomfortable for me, when I was facing my insecurities, I was facing my fears, my mind said, oh no, we have the tactical advantage. We need to get you, separate you from this feeling over your life. It's all about feelings. We want the happy feeling. We don't want that feeling of this sucks. Why am I here? And you don't have any, so you can't answer those questions, so you leave. Why am I so successful? How did that happen? I'm so misguided and f***ed up and don't listen to him. Why am I the only one to do a whole bunch of shit? Why am I a trailblazer? Why? How is that possible? How can you be f***ed up and also self-made the same? No. Obviously, you're not looking at the truth in front of you. The truth in front of you is it sucks. It's painful. It's fucking mind-numbing. And that is the truth. And that's why a lot of people don't like listening to me. Because this is what it takes. Creating another voice and sometimes going at it alone. All the time going at it alone. Because no one's going to believe in you. And that's that. I started realizing that if in that moment you can answer those up questions and you are now in charge of your brain versus your brain ruling you, that's where all that stuff comes from. So the 40% rule is all of that. You get to 40%, your brain says, we're done. Let's roll, man. This is starting to get painful. This is uncomfortable. So you sit down.
Don't you think that your happiness is probably elevated by the amount of pain that you've gone through?
100%.
So the amount of suffering that you understand, the amount of pain that you've gone through makes you appreciate the happiness and the beautiful moments with much more intensity.
That's what weak people miss about my story. Weak people hear this soft kid, oh my God, he must be miserable. Oh my God, what the hell's wrong with him? You're missing the fucking story. You're not listening to the story, man. Look what I overcame. If that doesn't put some badge of honor tattooed in your fucking brain for the rest of your life, that you can die today talking to Joe Rogan, you're missing the story, man. Am I happy? What the f do you think? Don't misunderstand the passion in which I speak for not being intensely happy. Happiest person in the world. But I'm not done. So I'm not going to speak to you like, oh man, everything is great. No, I have a lot more shit to do. A lot more shit to do.
What this is, in the same use of the word that you used, the warrior's mentality, the warrior's life.
Right.
This is the way that you can keep balanced and sane,
right,
and keep a good grip on who you are.
Period. And like there's a quote that was said, this guy said, going into combat, going into war, out of the 100 men that go into war, 10 shouldn't even fucking be there. 80 of them are just targets. 9 do most of the fighting. 1 is a warrior. And it's a true quote to life. I saw it going through training. I saw it everywhere I went. There's so many people who just show up to life that shouldn't even fucking be around. And there's a few people who do all the work. I wanted to be part of that 9, and I'm working towards being that 1.
You wake up every day and choose the grind. No applause, no spotlight. Just you and the mission. No weekend plans, no parties, no distractions. While the world scrolls, laughs, chills, you're in the lab, building. You don't come from legacy. There's no safety net, no rich uncle, no family name to lean on. You're not playing this game on beginner mode. You started at zero. No silver spoon, just hunger, just obsession, and I know it's heavy. Some days it feels like you're invisible. You give everything, your time, your energy, your soul, and nothing comes back. No results, just silence, just the echo of your own discipline. But hear me now, that's where champions are made. Not in victory, but in the silence before it. The world doesn't see the roots growing underground. It only claps when the tree breaks the surface. And right now, you're all roots, deep, unshakable. You're not missing out, you're leveling up. You're not lost, you're locked in. You're not late, you're learning how to move when no one's watching. Because one day, the world will watch. This season isn't meant to entertain you, it's meant to mold you. No fun? Good. It keeps you focused. No crowd? Even better. You're not here to impress them, you're here to outwork them. And no results? They're coming, but only to those who never stop showing up. Your grind is your edge. Your loneliness is your incubator. Your silence is your secret weapon. And your pain, that's just pressure.
You have to figure out ways, and everybody's different. That's how the book kind of talks about, like we all have these things about, 5 steps to this and 4 steps to this. It's a lot more than that. That's all bullshit. It's a practice that you have to, it's a habit. So if you know that at 40%, I'm feeling pain. At 40% I'm feeling pain. That's where the 40% rule kicks in. Now it starts. Okay, I'm feeling pain. My mind's saying all this shit to me. It's saying, get out of here, run, flee. The fight or flight kicks in. Okay, we're done, we're not good enough. It starts telling you all these things. You start to believe it because the mind controls all. This is the time where you have to gain control back of your mind. It's okay, let me see if I can go 45%. And once you start giving yourself more and more hope and start realizing, okay, the mind starts to be, okay, what are you doing? We're supposed to be going right and you're going left. You start then controlling your mind. Start finding more in yourself. And then it goes from 40% to a lot further than that. But that's the start of it though. Get to the spot where your mind is saying stop. Wherever that is, you gotta get there first. And then that's when that shit starts to work for you. You gotta control yourself in that moment. Something is still eating that motherfucker up.
Almost everybody.
Everybody. Eating you the fuck up. But maybe you found a good way, how I did growing up, on how to ignore that voice that's saying, you ain't facing some shit. Period, man. I'm not special. I just stopped listening. I listened to that voice. This is why I talk so fucking aggressive. People say, man, do you believe in God? You cuss so much. When I say it's letting you know what I'm thinking. If I try to make it all pretty and shit, that's not what my life was. It was a violent struggle daily to get where I'm at today. I'm not gonna water it down. It wasn't fun. It ain't fun today, but I'm happy. That voice in my head was so loud. It's not your fault, David. It's not your fault you can't read and write. It's not your fault that people call you fucking nigger. It's not your fault. It's not your fault this, not your fault that. It's not your fault that you're fat. It's not your fault that you quit. It's not your fault. So I was like, okay, man, I'm gonna go back, visit this motherfucker so I can just squash it and I can just go on and be a fucking loser because you fucked me up. And when I got there, I drove to Buffalo, saw my dad, same routine as it was when I was 8 years old, man. Walked in, what's up? Went to Skateland. I sat in that fucking couch that he would cheat on my mom with. And I sat on that couch in the corner and I was like, God, what the fuck, man? And it was a whole normal day. And the more I was around him, he started getting drunk. And I won't go through the whole thing, but I started seeing, man, I started having a conversation. I always had these conversations with myself. I'm like, man, this motherfucker, he came from hell. His dad would put him in front of a furnace. And like, if he moved, he'd get burnt. Like you have created a character. I want to be at the cool guy table. And whatever I could do to get attention, I did. It wasn't me. It wasn't who I was inside, but I was scared for anybody to know who I was inside. So in that accountability mirror, I call it, I got real with myself. And I said, you have a 3rd grade reading level. which is hard to admit when you're a junior in high school that you copied every single thing you did because of fear they're gonna put me in a special school. We all know what special means. I'm gonna have a title on myself the rest of my life. And being cool, you don't have a title on yourself. So I started cheating. I was dumb. And people say, oh, you know, you have a learning disability. I had a learning disability, but I realized I was lazy. So I called myself out there. I called myself out every which way possible. I didn't call myself out, I was just honest. I was honest. Look at yourself, man. Look at yourself. And it was that day, in a couple of days after that, I just got real with myself. And every day I came home, I called the accountability mirror. What am I gonna do today to change what I see in this mirror? What am I gonna do today? And a lot of it was, I stopped sitting with the cool guys. I actually tucked my shirt in and went to school looking like, hey man, this is how I'm gonna look. If you don't like it, so be it. I had to really wear this layer of skin. I had to develop a really callous skin on me to take whatever you're gonna call me, you're gonna call me. Whatever I'm gonna be, you know, I wasn't a geek, but whoever I am, you're gonna see me. You're gonna see me for who I am. I was 24 years old when I realized I was broken inside. Something had gone numb in my soul. And that numbness, that lack of deep feeling, dictated what my life had become. It's why I quit going after my goals, my biggest dreams, whenever things got hard. Quitting was just another detour. It never bothered me much, because when you're numb, you can't process what's happening to you or within you. I didn't know the power of the mind yet, and because of that, I had ballooned into a fat ass and taken a job as a cockroach sniper in restaurants. I had my excuses, of course. My numbness was a survival mechanism. It had been beaten into me by my father. By the time I'd turned 7, I developed a POW mindset. Going numb was how I took my beatings and maintained some level of self-respect. So the first thing about it is, once you realize it, and you have to realize it, you gotta call yourself out. Addressing it is very small. It doesn't go from like one morning this way, next morning I wake up and presto, 5 steps to greatness. No, it ain't that, brother. You read my book, this is hard work. It's every day, like right now. I had to be honest with you, man. I'm even shaking right now being on this show. I'm a big time introvert. How you address it is you face it. You face it every day. You face it every single day of your life. Where you say, okay, like I had tons of sticky notes all over my mirror. It wasn't like be better than John or be as fast as whoever. Okay, David, yesterday you did this. Today, our next goal for the week is this. So I had a year goal, weekly goals, daily goals, hourly goals, and the big goal was I lied a lot growing up. I wanted to be accepted. One goal was, let's go one day without lying. Let's go one day, and then when I would lie to somebody, I would say, hey man, now I had to go back now and apologize, say, hey man, I lied to you. You know how hard it is to go back to somebody and say, I lied to you? Hey man, you know what? Back there, I lied to you, dude. I was really jacked up. So I figured out these ways of total accountability. Like right now, I had to run this morning before I talked to you, because why? That's what I'm about. I'm about mind, body, fitness. A lot of folks talk so much shit about, hey, I'm gonna change your life. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Are you accountable for what you're doing? Are you accountable? And I mean to the T for what you're saying. I am. And that's where it started. It started with that total accountability of, let's not lie today. Let's tell people the truth about who you are. And when you can get on and tell someone, like I'm doing right now, exactly what you are, that's the goal in life. To put your life on a billboard, on the busiest road, in the busiest highway in the world, and say, this is how I used to be. Take it or leave it. When you're born a loser, your goal is to survive, not thrive. You learn to lie, to cheat, to do what it takes to fit in. You may become a survivor, but it's a miserable existence. Just like the cockroaches I was assigned to kill, you find yourself scurrying in from the shadows to claim the bare necessities while hiding your true self from the light at all costs. Born losers are the ultimate cockroaches. We do what we have to, and that attitude often enables some pretty severe character defects. I certainly had some. I was a quitter, a liar, a fat, lazy motherfucker, and I was deeply depressed. I could feel myself unraveling a little at a time. Fed up and frustrated, bitter and angry. I couldn't take much more of my sorry-ass life. If I didn't change, and change soon, I knew I would die a loser, or worse. When you really sit back at your life and you are in that dark room, and you're looking at where you started from, and you tell yourself, God, dog, man, my mom is this way, my soon-to-be stepdad got murdered, my dad beat the shit out of me, I can't read and write, I've lied about it to everybody, I've cheated on all these tests. My God, man. And then you put a goal in your mind. How are you gonna feel, man, when you accomplish this goal, coming from that shit? Coming from the fucking hell you came from. A lot of people start from a good starting point. They have a good foundation. What if you can surpass all of these? What if everybody who was way up here started up here? And you started with no legs. You had to grow fucking legs to even start walking, and then crawling, and then running. And then you start passing people with all this given to them. I had to use all this negative shit that was making me weak and horrible as a person. I had to use this as the power that now fueled me. I had to flip it on its head and say, hold up. This might be exactly what I need. The darkness is exactly what I need. It's how you look at your situation. And I was looking at it up. There's a lot of power in that list. So in that list of who you are, what makes you, all these other things, it goes back to, once again, accepting. You have to first accept it before you can fix it. The only way to find your way out is to confront the devil himself. I was hoping to find some answers that would help me change my life. That was what I told myself anyway, as I crossed into Ohio from Indiana and veered northeast. I hadn't seen my old man in 12 years. It had been my decision to stop seeing him. At that time, the court system allowed children to make those decisions once they turned 12. I made that choice mostly out of respect for and loyalty to my mom. He'd stopped beating us after we left Buffalo, but the one thing that never went numb was how I felt about what my mother endured at his hands. A lot of people walk around, oh man, I'm good. I'm good. No, you're not. You have to accept what you're not. You have to, and people don't want to do that. That's the only way you can fix it. You have to accept it first before you can go on the journey. A lot of folks never even start the journey, man. They never start the journey because they live in this fake life that who they want to be, they act like they are, but they're not because they haven't fixed all this stuff yet. You got to fix this first before we can start our journey in life. So that's why I have them make this list. You fix these problems, now your journey can begin because you no longer care about how people are judging you. When you care more about how someone's judging you, you're going to stay right there. There's no forward momentum. So that's the whole thing about that list.
All right.
All I heard were the competing voices in my head. The first voice accepted me as I was. It's not your fault, David. None of this is your fault. You're doing the best you can with what you've been given. That was the voice I've been listening to my entire life. It's not my fault was my favorite refrain. It explained and justified my lot in life and the dead-end path in front of me. And it played 24/7. However, for the first time, another voice chimed in. Roger that. It ain't your fucking fault that you were dealt a bad hand, but it is your responsibility. In a society where mediocrity is too often the standard and too often rewarded, the man who finds a way to complete each and every task to the best of his ability, the man who will adapt and overcome any and all obstacles. All my fears and insecurities I'd bottled up for my entire life started raining down on my head. I was on the verge of giving in and giving up for good. By the time I bent over to catch my breath, I'd run a full mile. That's when I first realized that not all physical and mental limitations are real, and that I had a habit of giving up way too soon. I also knew that it would take every ounce of courage and toughness I could muster to pull off the impossible. I was staring at hours, days, and weeks of nonstop suffering. I would have to push myself to the very edge of my mortality. How long will you allow your past to hold you back before you finally take control of your future? Compared to the first, more nurturing voice in my head, this one was ice cold, and I did my best to tune it out. The closer I got to Buffalo, the younger and more helpless I felt. I had to accept the very real possibility that I might die, because this time I wouldn't quit, no matter how fast my heart raced and no matter how much pain I was in. Trouble was, there was no battle plan to follow, no blueprint. I had to create one from scratch. The typical day went something like this. I'd wake up at 4:30 a.m., munch a banana, and hit the ASVAB books. Around 5 a.m., I'd take that book to my stationary bike where I'd sweat and study for 2 hours. When I was 150 miles away, I felt like I was 16 years old. As I pulled off the highway and wound through the Buffalo City streets, I felt like I was 8. The same age I was when we packed all our shit into garbage bags and walked out the door. Once I walked into the house, it was August 1983, all over again. The paint on the walls, the floors, the appliances, and the furniture, all of it was the same. While it looked a lot smaller and out of date, it was still the haunted house I remembered, filled with years of grisly memories and palpable dark energy. However, my father was warm and more affectionate than I remembered. Trunnis was always a charmer, and he acted genuinely happy to see me. As we caught up, I found myself laughing at his jokes, slightly confused by the man in front of me. After a while, he checked his watch and grabbed his coat. He held the front door open for his wife, Sue, and me as we headed for the car. Remember, my body was a mess. I couldn't run multiple miles yet, so I had to burn as many calories as I could on the bike. My heart raced and I stopped. This time I felt the same pain. My heart raced like a car running hot, but I ran through it and the pain faded. That's when I first realized that not all physical and mental limitations are real, and that I had a habit of giving up way too soon. I also knew that it would take every ounce of courage and toughness I could muster to pull off the impossible. I was staring at hours, days, and weeks of nonstop suffering. I would have to push myself to the very edge of my mortality. Where are we going? I asked. You remember the schedule? He said. It's time to open up. The first thing I noticed about Skateland from the outside was that it needed a paint job. Inside, the floor and walls were chipped and stained, and the whole place smelled funky. The office had deteriorated too. That sofa we slept on as kids, where my mom caught him cheating on more than one occasion, still hadn't been replaced. It was filthy as hell, and that's where I sat after the grand tour while my father headed upstairs to spin hip-hop records in the Vermilion Room. I felt dizzy and disoriented. It was strange how far the old man had let his standards slip. He wasn't the strong, exacting, demanding figure I'd remembered. He was old, weak, soft in the middle, and lazy. He didn't even appear to be that mean anymore. He wasn't the devil at all. He was human. Had I been feeding myself a false history? As I lingered in that office, steeped in the past, I wondered what else I'd been wrong about. Then, at around 10 o'clock, I had to accept the very real possibility that I might die, because this time I wouldn't quit, no matter how fast my heart raced and no matter how much pain I was in. Trouble was, there was no battle plan to follow, no blueprint. I had to create one from scratch. For me, the only way to make it through that was to feed off my depression. I had to flip it and convince myself that all that self-doubt and anxiety was confirmation that I was no longer living an aimless life. My task may turn out to be impossible, but at least I was back on a motherfucking mission. Some nights, when I was feeling low, I'd call Shaljo. He was always in the office early in the morning and late at night. I didn't confide in him about my depression because I didn't want him to doubt me. I used those calls to pump myself up. I told him how many pounds I dropped and how much work I was putting in, and he reminded me to keep studying for that asthma. Roger that. I had the Rocky soundtrack on cassette, and I listened to Going the Distance for inspiration. On long bike rides and runs, with those horns blasting in my brain, I'd imagine myself going through Bud, diving into cold water, and crushing Hell Week. I was wishing, I was hoping, but by the time I was down to 250, my quest to qualify for the SEALs wasn't a daydream anymore. I had a real chance to accomplish something most people, including myself, thought was impossible. Still, there were bad days. One morning, not long after I dipped below 250, I weighed in and had only lost a pound from the day before. I had so much weight to lose, I could not afford to plateau. That's all I thought about while running 6 miles and swimming 2. That was the only way I could manage the demons in my mind. Either way, there would be suffering. I had to choose between physical suffering in the moment and the mental anguish of wondering if that one missed pull-up, that last lap in the pool, the quarter mile I skipped on the road or trail, would end up costing me an opportunity of a lifetime. It was an easy choice.
Every single failure you've faced has been preparing you for this moment, teaching you lessons that success never could. Your scars are proof that you're a fighter, not a quitter, and fighters don't stay down when life knocks them flat. Right now, while others are making excuses, you have the chance to make a comeback that will inspire everyone around you. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, because champions are made in the mess, in the struggle, in the moments when everything seems impossible. Get up, dust yourself off, and show the world what you're really made of, because your greatest victory is waiting on the other side of your biggest fear.
Life hits hard, but so do you. You've made it this far for a reason. The pain you feel today is forging the power you'll need tomorrow. Don't quit now. Your future self is counting on you. You're not stuck. You're just in a difficult chapter, not the whole story. Rise from the setbacks, learn from the pain, and keep writing your comeback.
Life's toughest battles are fought by the strongest souls. Your struggles don't define you. Your courage does. Keep going, because every step forward is a victory. Difficult times aren't here to break you. They're here to build you. Every struggle is shaping the strength you'll need for your next level. Keep pushing forward. Your story is far from over.
Stop waiting for motivation. Stop begging for approval. The world doesn't care how you feel. Winners operate in survival mode. Pressure forges paradise. Weakness, easy times destroy empires. Serious people don't wait for Monday. They act now. Discipline isn't emotion. It's rebellion against your excuses. Set the schedule. Do the work. Crush the resistance. Your feelings lie. Your doubts betray you. But discipline, that's the weapon of the unstoppable. So ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Because if the why isn't strong enough, the how doesn't matter. Get up, fight yourself, win. Your mind will always beg for the easy path. Train it to crave the hard one. The world doesn't reward what's convenient. It rewards what's conquered. Excuses. Everyone has a million. Winners have one answer. Do it anyway. Stop waiting for perfect. Perfect is a lie. Action beats intention every time. Fall, word, rise, repeat. The person you need to become isn't found in shortcuts or saviors. It's forged in the grind. No one's coming to save you. You are the architect of your own greatness. That voice saying you're not ready? Starve it. The past that haunts you? Burn it. Your potential is limitless, but only if you fight for it. Surround yourself with fire, not excuses. Be the anomaly. Be the one who stays when others quit. 1% better every day compounds into inevitability. The urgency you feel, channel it. The pain you fear, weaponize it. Distractions will come. Your discipline is the immovable wall. And when doubt whispers, crush it with belief so fierce it becomes reality. You are limitless. Now prove it. You are limitless, but only if you believe it. Believe so deeply that your presence applies pressure. Believe so fiercely that your discipline becomes contagious. Even in silence, people will feel it. Believe you're the best, because if you don't, who will? Success is the sweetest revenge. When they said no, you said yes. You got beat down, but you rose because you remembered how it felt, and you refused to stay there. The life you want, it's on the other side of who you're willing to become. So start, push, believe, and never let up.
Your mind wants comfort. It craves the path of least resistance. But if you want growth, real growth, you must train it to choose the path of most resistance. The only thing that can kill iron is its own rust. So don't let your mind be the reason for your own destruction. There will always be a reason not to start: fear, doubt, perfection. But it's better to try and fail than to sit there wishing you had. Don't wait for perfect. It'll never come. Go out there, create, execute, make mistakes, learn, do it again and again and again. You're not where you want to be because you haven't become who you need to be. No shortcut, no mentor, no course can do it for you. You have to build the mental, physical, and emotional strength brick by brick. That's life. It's not fair, not supposed to be, and that's what makes it beautiful.
A harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very dangerous man who keeps it under control. Greatness is when you turn your delusions into reality. Everything comes down to how bad you want it. Suffering is not optional. It's the cost of living a meaningful life. Ignore it. It will return. Run from it. It runs faster. The only way is through. At some point, you must wake up and realize any change you want is on you. Stop chasing validation. Stop waiting for applause. You are wasting your precious life. Serious people don't wait. They don't postpone greatness till Monday, next month, or next year. They act now. Discipline is the war you fight against yourself, and victory is non-negotiable. Self-discipline, my greatest enemy, has always been me. Being a winner is a curse. It doesn't matter how much you've won before. You're not a winner until you win again, and again, and again. A harmless man isn't strong. A strong man is dangerous, but disciplined. Greatness isn't talent. It's delusion turned into reality. The impossible, make it your slave. The pain, run toward it, because suffering isn't optional. It's the price of living. Hide from it, and it hunts you. Face it, and you own it. Life's toughest battles are fought by the strongest souls. Your struggles don't define you. Your courage does. Keep going, because every step forward is a victory. Difficult times aren't here to break you. They're here to build you. Every struggle is shaping the strength you'll need for your next level. Keep pushing forward. Your story is far from over.
The world will doubt you. Your mind will whisper you can't. But if you believe, truly believe, nothing can break you. Believe in yourself when no one else does. Believe in your dreams when the world doubts you. And most of all, believe that every step forward is a victory waiting to happen.
Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're trying something bold. Every successful person once stood where you are, scared and uncertain. Face the fear. because growth lives on the other side of it.
When hope feels out of reach, remember, even the smallest light can cut through the darkest moments. You don't have to fix everything today, just take one step, one breath at a time. Hope may be quiet right now, but it's still there, waiting for you to meet it halfway.
Life's toughest battles are fought by the strongest souls. Your struggles don't define you, your courage does. Keep going, because every step forward is a victory. Difficult times aren't here to break you, they're here to build you. Every struggle is shaping the strength you'll need for your next level. Keep pushing forward. Your story is far from over.